What's up, guys? Hope we're all doing well today. Hope you guys are staying safe. I was just training today and I was thinking that, what can I really give you guys that's gonna help you to get more out of your training sessions? And I'm just gonna share 5 quick points, stuff that I hope that some of you might already be applying it to your training sessions. But these are things that have really helped me to elevate my training to the next level. And if you don't know it, honestly, it's things that it's worth it. Take your time and properly educate yourself on what you need to do to get the most out of your sessions. Tip number 1, right? What you want to do is, before you train, plan what you're going to do. Plan your week. Plan every session, write everything down. And sometimes I'm guilty of not doing this, and I'm telling you, it makes a big difference. Let me tell you why. Think about this. You're having a bad day, you don't feel like training. What happens? You get to the gym, you're tired, you're like, what am I gonna do today? I'm not really feeling it. I'm just gonna do 10 minutes of cardio and go home. Well, actually, if you had written something down, you're much more likely that you would have done a little bit more, if not the whole program. So tip number 1, failure to plan is planning to fail. Make sure that you're planning everything out. The more detail, the better. And trust me, this is a big one. This is gonna help you stay on track like nothing else. It's one of the biggest tips that you can do. Tip number 2, and this is a controversial one because a lot of weight loss gurus, they're going to disagree with what I'm saying, but I'm speaking not necessarily from a scientific point of view, but from my experience, right? It's not something I read in a book. This is something that I experienced with my own body, with my hundreds of clients, different clients that I train. And that is that don't ever train when there's no glycogen in your body, right? Don't train on an empty stomach. It's different if you wake up the morning, you want to do fasted cardio, or you want to do a fasted session for weight loss, right? But what I've found that if you train on an empty stomach, what happens is you're not getting the maximum out of your session. If you just have 20% less energy than usual, and this can even trace to the previous night. If you didn't eat a proper meal the previous night, never mind just the morning before training, you're not going to do your best in the gym. And if you're not at 100%, you're not going to do the necessary damage to your muscles for it to actually tear the muscle fibers so that the muscle fibers can get bigger and repair themselves. So you always want to be 100% in the gym, and for me to be 100%, I need to eat properly, sleep properly, right? So always make sure that you're eating decent, good quality food, and you're going to see without good food you're not going to have good training sessions, right? So that's tip number 2. Always train with a decent amount of glycogen in your body, a decent amount of energy, right? And tip number 3, right? This is also something that you gotta experience these things for yourself. But in my opinion, I've learned that don't try and aim to do 20 exercises in a session. It's not that the more exercises you do, the better. What you're much better off is doing is pick 6 exercises and really try to nail it, really try to perfect your form. If you want, I usually take 2-3 sets of an exercise just to get into it, just to feel which angles work for me, what's the perfect weight. Then I only start to do working sets, right? So instead of picking 10 exercises to do a session, reduce that amount. 6 to 8 is what I recommend exercises, And then really you can do 10 sets if you have to, but feel it. You know, you can feel if you're doing an exercise properly. You can feel if you are targeting the muscle that you want to. And that's another thing that goes into this point number 3, is focus on the muscle that you're trying to work. If you're training back today and you don't feel your back muscles working, you're doing something wrong, right? So reduce the weight, try and get your stance and your positioning perfect, so that you really get the most out of exercise before you try to go as heavy as what you can. Okay, then tip number 4, right? This is one that you can ask just about any personal trainer, they will agree with me. If you want to lose weight, if you're training for weight loss, don't do cardio as your main, don't pick cardio as your main weapon. Yes, it is effective for losing weight, but it's not the best way to lose weight if you only have half an hour, or if you only have an hour. If you've got just an hour, you're much better off training weights, right? And what I mean by this is I usually use cardio as a warm-up, right? I do 10 minutes of cardio just to get the blood flowing, burn a little bit of extra calories, warm up your muscles, avoid injury. It's a nice way just to get into your session. But after that 10 minutes, hit the weights. I'm telling you, as a woman, as an older person past the age of 16, you're much better off doing a weight session. I'm telling you, the weight loss, the firming of the muscle, that tight body that people seem to love, you get that with weights. You don't get it with cardio. Final tip I want to share with you is that how many times a week should you be training, right? If you ask me, you should be focusing on training 6 days a week, right? With our lifestyle these days, we're sitting behind a desk, we're not moving as much as we should, we're not getting out anymore. Most of our work is behind a chair. We're sitting watching TV at night, we're sitting like this for hours, right? So if that's the case with you, if you're not very active in your work, you can train 6 times a week. I'm not saying train, you know, an hour and 30 minutes a session. No, you can train 30 minutes, but make sure that you're putting in everything you got for your session, and make sure that you are eating good food and that you're recovering in between with proper nutrition. And if you prefer, you can use some basic supplements. We can obviously give you advice on what you should be using. But yeah, 6 days a week, 30 to 45 to an hour is good in my opinion. And yeah, that should be it. Yeah guys, if you like this, please, I would appreciate it if you share the video. Subscribe to our channel if you haven't done that yet. More really good stuff on the way. And then I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.